Hi, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to my channel, and also welcome to my podcast, the Unsolicited Opinion of Jackie podcast. This is my very first video podcast, and it's because I wanted to have a conversation with y'all and look y'all in your eyes as I tell y'all my thoughts and everything that I'm thinking regarding this particular topic. So we're trying it out and seeing what happens. So, for those of you who have never been on my channel, historically, my YouTube channel has talked about career related things. I haven't really done any of my political rants. Those are more so for TikTok and maybe Instagram or Threads. It really varies, but I didn't really do that on my YouTube. Part of the reason is because I am not trying to throw on a face to get on YouTube. I am not trying to set up the perfect lighting and I don't want to edit the video. I just want to record it, flaws and all, like Beyonce said. And that'd be it. That'd be it. But that requires me to just do it. So I'm going to just do it, right? Um, I will put the different ways you can follow me on social media in the description. I will do other things in the description here too. But today's topic is going to be about the Wisconsin governor's race, but just the Democrats for right now. So as of December 6, 2025, several people have thrown their hats into the governor's race. And before I dive deep into all of that, I do want to give this disclaimer that, baby, these are all my own opinions, all my own thoughts. None of this reflects any organization that I have ever been linked to or that I am linked to. This, if you know me, and if you don't, I have always had an opinion and I've always been vocal when it has come to politics, especially when it has to deal with the elections and then just values, being a good human. Depending on the platform, I may cuss. I'm not going to cuss in this video, but here we go, right? Here we go. So, before I get into all the details of all the things, I got notes, y'all. Give me 1 second. Like, I have a legit notebook. I went and took notes on the candidates that I see in the race so far. And here are this is for all the candidates. I want all the candidates, all their campaign managers to listen to this and see this. So I am basically a Wisconsin native. I've been here since I was 5 and I'm 42. Okay. I am a wife. I am a mom of all adults. I'm an empty nester right now, and I have one grandchild. I know. I don't look it. I look really good. I get it. But yeah, so we in my home, we are always talking politics. We have talked politics with my kids, and I have been really involved in making sure my family that they are informed and active voters. Now, I believe that comes through education. I believe that comes through y'all doing your own research and getting information that is like non-biased and being able to synthesize all of the different information that you're getting in and make an informed decision on who you want to be your next whatever the position is. And in this case, it's the Wisconsin governor's race. Wisconsin has several, like, I think there's 4 elections next year. And there will also be a Supreme Court race. And I'll get into that too. But because the governor's race is like a hot topic and hot button, and there's been so many changes and so many people throwing their hat in the ring, it is only fair and right that I focus on that right now. Top of the notebook page. For me, it is important that we Wisconsinites do not let the governor's seat fall into the hands of MAGA. There's been no good that has come to the individual person unless you are ultra rich and rules just don't apply to you. Like we just can't let that be the case. We don't want what's happening in DC to be happening in Wisconsin. So that means no MAGA. It's important that we then, as the Democratic party of it all, put forth a candidate that people will actually show up for. And I have a lot of a lot of thoughts, which don't worry, I will definitely share with you. But the candidate that is going to be put up against whatever MAGA candidate needs to work on behalf of all Wisconsinites, work in the best interest of all Wisconsinites, even those who cannot see it but are benefiting from it. Okay. I believe that we need to participate in all elections. Local elections are very important because that is the only thing that can protect you from some of the federal craziness that may happen that may harm you or those you love or those you know. So for the people who have their hat in the ring for the Democratic seat, let me tell you right now. So messaging matters. Messaging absolutely matters. How you get that message out. Where are you getting that message out? Is your message digestible? Is it simple? Is it something that we can understand? Are you actually saying something that matters, or are you just making noise? So let's get that out of the way. The messaging matters. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be authentic. It needs to make the people believe and have hope that something is actually going to happen on their behalf for the better. Now, I have a section of what I call what's important to me and what I'm looking for in the next governor. And as somebody who is very vocal, I speak on behalf of a lot of different groups, different economical situations, having lived them. I'm speaking from a perspective as like I said, a wife, a mom, somebody who works in healthcare, someone who is very focused on the human aspect of all things. Okay. So what's important to me is understanding, why are you showing up in this role? What is it that you are hoping to get out of it? And I'm hoping you lead with something that has to do with true service to our state and to the people of our state. I am not interested at all in anybody trying to come up off a bid. Just not. I'm not interested in any cloud chasers, nothing that's performative. I am also not interested in anybody who is just trying to play it safe, because it kind of puts you in this position where it's like, oh, well, basically you complicit. You just falling in line. For me, it is also important to know, where are you showing up? I want to see that you are going across the state, that you are talking to people, that you are interacting in all places, whether it's in the rural communities, in the inner city, up in North Woods. That's important as a governor because you're serving everybody of the state. While it may be cool that you pop up on CNN, are you on our local news across the state? Are you meeting with people? Are you open to interviews with social media influencers? Are you holding town halls? Are you setting up events and situations that allow you to interact with the people and answer the questions that are deepest in their hearts and on their minds? What have you done? What do I believe you will or can do is also important to me. I can't hold anybody to the bar of, well, this is what governors do, because none of these people have been governor before. So I'm not too pressed on that. But I do think it is helpful if they have some kind of legislative experience and understand how things work, especially here in Wisconsin, where it's pretty unique in how our state government stuff is set up and the legislature and the gerrymandering that's going on in this state. But I do believe that some experience helps form my opinion of who you are and what I believe you are capable of doing and will do. I'm not a big middle ground person. I know that we have to work across the aisle in some situations. I know that we have to be able to negotiate, but in the same breath, if it's at the expense of the lives of a marginalized group, I'm not ever going to be cool with you just kind of sitting on the fence. Um, Authenticity matters. I can't believe you if I don't believe who you are or who you're showing up as. And that is, in this crowd, I would say is particularly challenging because most of the people who have their hat in the ring are women or men of color. And we have to show up differently in the workplace and in the workspace. We are criticized differently. When you are of a marginalized group or not in the majority group, we are criticized and held to standards that do not exist for a white male with money, to keep it straight up. So it's hard to gauge people's authenticity because they're trying to toe the line of being palatable to the majority of people and not fall into stereotypes. However, I mean, first of all, I understand that. However, I do think that we are at a time right now where you have to show some authenticity, show some relatability, show some human qualities. People don't want to feel like you're being fed lines and you can't pivot and be warm and real. It shouldn't be a mystery. I say save the mystery for one of those like mystery whodunit dinners type of thing. I don't want to see the mystery right now. I don't want you to be evasive. I don't want us to be having to guess, and I don't want it to fall down to, well, this is a lesser of two evils, even though that may happen. May happen. I think it is important that the next candidate can accurately, concisely describe how will you tackle affordability in Wisconsin? How will you address public education and how it's funded? The outcomes of the education. What are you going to be doing that will address our environment? How are we going to be protected, especially with the number of data centers that are trying to all of a sudden pop up? All because y'all want to make a little AI picture of y'all with Jesus when, never mind, let me stop. But how will you address what's going on with healthcare, the shutdown of um, community hospitals and clinics, and women's health? And when I'm talking about women's health, I'm definitely talking about abortion and everything that has to do with delivering babies and postpartum Medicaid for the moms. Okay. So we are about 13 minutes and some change in. We are going to get into each candidate. So this is how I have it set up. I'm hoping that I can get these in short enough snippets to reuse pieces of the video, but we have the candidates in the race so far as of December 6, 2025, knowing that people can still enter the race and this list may grow. What I am planning to do is tell y'all who all these people are, give you my first impression. This first impression is based off of a little internet searching and like going to their campaign website. And my thoughts as an everyday person who is online probably a little too much and has my ear to the ground on certain things. Okay. So turn the page. I told you I got a notebook. The notebook is purely to keep me on task. Otherwise, I'll talk y'all ear off about all kinds of things because I watched that Diddy documentary and anyway, let's get. We are going to start out with Kelda Roys. And my first impression is that on paper, she looks good. She's a wife. She's a mom. She's a small business owner. She's also an attorney, attended law school here in the state. She is currently a Wisconsin State Senator for District Number 26. She's been in that position since 2021. Prior to that, she worked as a Wisconsin State Assembly member from 2009 to 2013. I think she looks good on paper. And I'm not saying that in a shady way at all. I think that matters. I think this actually matters. She has served on quite a few committees throughout her job as assembly person as senator. Some of the committees include, and this is not an inclusive list, the Joint Finance Committee, Government Operations Committee, Legal Review, and Consumer Protection Committee. I think those are cool because what I gather from them is that, okay, she is working on things to make sure people doing their job the right way in the government, but also some of the committees that she supported are really people focused. So I like that. She has a website for her campaign, and that gets you points with me. That's going to put you higher in my rankings because it is 2025. You cannot be in any type of race and don't have even a website that is informative. It can be simple. It needs to have a picture of you. It needs to say who you are, what you plan to do, what you're trying to do, where you been, what have you done. So she has a website that gets her points. I'm not a fan of that huge pop-up box asking for a donation right away. And people can feel what they need to feel. I get it. Money makes elections happen in this country. But tell me who you are and what you do before you ask me for money. And that's when you have those pop-ups like that don't give me any it's not giving me another piece of information. It's telling me I need your money. I need to know what you're going to do first. And that's just a turn off for me. So everybody who has that in their campaign like on their campaign website, can we put that in a smaller box? Can it just not pop up in your face? We know y'all gonna ask for money. Y'all have no problem doing that. Tell us, leave it what you about to do. How you serving us? But anyhow, back to the website. She does have a picture, which I appreciate, picture of her family. There's a page of her priorities because it is important that I'm able to find what you're saying you about to do. She calls out this administration, like the federal administration, and what they have been doing wrong. She talks about topics I think are important, like creating opportunity for economic opportunity for all. So that's going to be addressing affordability, I hope. Championing public education, affordable housing, lower healthcare, affordable childcare, reproductive rights, clean air, clean water, infrastructure. She's hidden all the things. My only issue is that on her website, she has too many words. So, and when I say too many words, you have to consider your audience. You have to consider the reading comprehension and level of the majority of your audience. You want to reach the most people. And the website should be simple. What you're going to be doing should be plainly stated, and it should have a very few bullets. There's long paragraphs, which it makes my eyes go wide. So if you are a part of her team, and you should probably ask other people if they feel the same way. I like that she has that page, and she highlights the things that she's going to prioritize. It just needs to be less wordy. And I don't know if that's just a lawyer thing. They like to use words. But I do think that she could be a strong contender. And if she was the candidate that was chosen, I don't feel the ick getting behind her because she is addressing some real issues. So my first impression is, hey, I would love to see a little bit more visibility. I know that can be probably a little bit challenging with her being a senator already, and you got double jobs, you got a campaign, and you got to work. But I want to see a little bit more visibility and see her out in the different communities across the state, especially in the because I think she's in Marshfield. I could be messing that up, but I just want to see them across the state. And I think that visibility will allow us to see her personality, which will allow us to gauge how authentic she is and how much we believe that she will be able to do what she says she's going to do. That's Kelda Roys. There's another person on the list, Zachary Roper. I have no idea who he is. I probably need to dig a little bit more, but if it's not easy for me to find, you're already very, very low on my list of people. So whoever you are, Zachary Roper, put it out there what you're about to be doing and make it simple for me to find. Next on my list is Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. So she's been Lieutenant Governor of the state of Wisconsin since 2023. First impression of her is we could work with this. So she was previously part of the Wisconsin State Assembly District number 13. And she's a wife, a mom, a nurse. She went to Johns Hopkins, y'all. That's a good school. She is married to a first generation immigrant. And let me tell y'all, that this all looks great on paper. Like, she's a real person, real human on paper, okay? She does have a website. Good job. And what I like about her website is that there's no pop-up asking for money right away. Lead with who you are and what you do. We know you're asking for money. You can ask for money at the bottom of your page or something smaller. It should not, when I go to your website, I do not want to see that pop up and I can't see anything around it but that. Get it out of my face. But she does not have that, so that's good. She has bullet points listed for cutting costs, defending reproductive freedom. Like, she's hitting on all the things that I need her to hit on. Prioritizing safe communities, strengthen Wisconsin schools, protect natural resources, all that jazz. What I would like to see is a brief, how would this be done? The website is easy to follow, but I don't know how we're doing the things. I like, give me a little bit more. But I love that it's just bullet points. Just add like a few lines underneath. I am a big fan of, she has a link that goes to a media page, and it highlights things that, press releases, statements that she said, or like, what am I saying? Denouncing certain activities and actions and things like that. Now, I know she has a job of lieutenant governor. I would also love to see her be more visible. I don't know how you balance all that. I ain't never been lieutenant governor, but I mean, that's what I would ideally like to see. So I like her. And I should put this out there. There ain't nobody that I hate. Whoever ends up being on the top of the Democratic ticket is who I'm more than likely voting for. Like, I'm voting and I'm going to more than likely vote for them. But this is just supposed to be informational. Informational based off of my opinion of the information that I found. Please, like I said, go and look this stuff up for yourself. Don't be just relying on me and my information, because we're different people. We may have different values, whatnot. And this isn't my ranking either. This is just me right now giving my first impression. This is Brett Hulsey. First impression. So I was able to find that he was a Wisconsin State Assembly person for District 78 from 2011 to 2015. He currently consults for some renewable energy stuff. And he has a website. So I'm going to give him a quarter of a point for having a website. But he doesn't get even a half a point because that page didn't tell me anything. And what this tells me is that you need to connect with younger people and tech savvy people for a website that tells us who you are and what you do. He is an older gentleman. It sounds like people liked him, and that's not enough. The website just was not good. So I hope that his team is going to like fix that soon. I also hope that I don't. Okay, I will say like first look, he looks way older than the picture that is like submitted. There's on Ballotopedia. That's one place, and they have a picture. He looks older on his website, and I'm gonna be honest. I want somebody with that's a little bit younger and has fresh ideas and like he can be a part of whoever's elected team, but I don't want him based off of that. My first impression is nothing excites me about him. I won't remember him. Next up on my list is Francesca Hong. So she is a Wisconsin state rep for district number 76. She's a mom. She was a chef or is a chef. And she has also sat on quite a few committees, has plenty of. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, she has been having a lot of events. Could not read events. I wrote so sloppy, y'all. Um, she sits on like some of the committee examples would be the government accountability oversight committee, labor and integrated employment. So this tells me again more you care about how things are operating, holding people accountable for doing their job right, but also people centered and the working people centered. So her website, she doesn't have the big pop up. So I can see her page. She does have a little red banner across the top. And like I said, I understand that there's money in politics. So I don't have an issue with people asking. I have an issue with how you ask. So when I see that big pop up and it takes up your entire page, it tells me that is the first. That's my first impression, and that's the first focus. I can live with a banner, so maybe those other people can take a piece from her page and move that thing to a little banner, or do like Sarah Rodriguez did and just have it's on her page, but is not throwing it in your face. Okay. Now, her website is straightforward. For each issue that she's prioritizing or focusing on, she has a bullet and a clickable. I mean, like you can see underneath that bullet a very brief description on why it matters and how it can be done. And I think that's important because in this climate, people, when you say these things that are right for people, and people are like, well, how does it happen? Like, y'all ain't even ask how they building the dang ballroom at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but like taking care of people, there should be like, if you're going to say you're going to do something, I think you need to say how, or at least have a plan for how, have an idea for how, give us something. Don't just say I'm going to do this because I need to believe it. Makes me believe it more when I see how. But some of the things she's prioritizing, and this is not an inclusive list: universal child care, fully funded public schools, fair and cheaper health care. So first impression, I like her. And yeah, I'm just going to that's my first impression. I think that she's pretty straightforward. Her messaging is about the people, working people, everyday living, and she is being consistent with it. And she even has like get authenticity from her website because you got a little cuss word in there, and that's anybody who knows me knows my favorite cuss word starts with an F. Anyway, my list. We have David Crowley. So he is currently the Milwaukee County executive, and he's been in that seat since 2020. He was previously State Assembly District 17, so legislative experience. And Milwaukee County, for those of you who don't know, is the largest county here in the state of Wisconsin. He has a lot of his experience that you can find include listed on his web. Well, he has a website. Remember I told you that. That's important. But it includes his experience, and it's easy to find his experience as well. Like it's not hidden in these weeds. He has worked on political campaigns in the past, been a policy director, served in different community organizations like the ACLU, Milwaukee Urban League Young Professionals. Again, has website. I appreciate it. But he has that big old pop-up for donations, y'all. Again, I think I stated it enough. Change that up. I do. So he has a page that gives of his record, and I like that he has it laid out as a timeline, and you can see what position he had and what he accomplished in that role for Wisconsin. I appreciate the clarity. So, one of the examples would be like how he helped with expanding affordable housing, um, working to reduce evictions, securing resources for healthcare statewide, and led the passage of Act 12. Okay, his plan is laid out. His priorities, I would say, his plan and priorities are laid out. And what I wish is that, okay, because he has it on his website where like the little bullets. And y'all know I love a girl loves a bullet, but you have to scroll and you have to keep scrolling. Like if I wanted to see his thoughts on universal childhood or education, I can't click that up at the top. I have to scroll down to the bottom. And I know that seems like a little thing, but I keep trying. I want everybody to think about like who is reading this, who is looking at this. So you may have your donors, but even your most educated person wants to take the path of least resistance. And yeah, I think that that just helps. That's not a major thing, but it's a critique that I have. And but he does have like little descriptions of how he will do it, how he has done it, how he's going to implement this on a bigger scale. So first impression, I like him. All right. And to round out the list, man, this video came out way longer than what I had thought. Okay. Is Mandela Barnes. So he was, I think last week mentioned he threw his hat into the ring. So Mandela Barnes is a former lieutenant governor. He is also a former state assembly person for District 11. I didn't write the years down, but just know that that's the experience. He also ran against Ron Johnson in 2022 for Wisconsin State Senator seat, and he has worked as a community organizer. So he has a website, which I like. Remember, I like websites. I want to see a website. Okay. Um, the donation pop up is big. It's big right there. I don't think it's a pop up. I think on his page is actually at the very top, and then you have to scroll down. He does provide his record and talks about bills that he co-sponsored, but that would have been when he was in the state assembly. And he's that. Yes. Anyhow, he mentions as part of his record, being the first Black lieutenant governor, the effort and work that he has done to get Black and brown voters out and working people out, and just trying the work that he has done to increase voter turnout. Let's see. He has a list of priorities. I don't really get how, and remember I talk about that's important to me. But some of the things that he has listed as a priority, which I think is important, is bringing jobs to Wisconsin, making Roe v. Wade law of the land, making childcare affordable, and I'm trying to see what other notes I had. That's what I had. All right. So my first impression is I don't know if this is I'm having a big I don't know. Okay. Again. These are my first impressions. You don't have to agree with nothing I say. I think it is important though to give y'all my ranking, and I'll give y'all my why. So everything else is just like a little cliff note version of things, and like generalizations that could be applied to any of these potential future governors, right? Any of these candidates this can be applied to. We talked about what's important. I want to also mention this because this made me think of it. It is important that if you are asked a question, like right now, I think it is all these candidates need to recognize that while we want a candidate who's going to stand up to 45, 47, I don't want that to be the gist of your campaign. That is not going to help us get lower costs. That is not going to help me get food on my table. I don't want to leave with the idea that your entire job would be focused on him. Yeah, focus here. But you need to be able to stand up to him and be um, savvy. Surround yourself with a team that's going to protect the Wisconsinites from any harms or potential harms. Okay. You also need to be straight up. No one that is running on this ticket has the luxury of lying and everybody's just gonna be cool with it. I think that you have to be straight. Like, say somebody's asking you about a particular donation, you can't, and they are presenting you with either some type of written evidence, wherever they got this information from. Your answer needs to address, like, you can't just you can't deny and you can't, I don't think denying in line is going to work for whoever's the next candidate. We definitely want some accountability and ownership, because I think people are more willing to forgive when people are straight up and honest. And that, again, goes to your authenticity and then your relatability. And people got to believe and trust you. If people think you are lying, or that you're being evasive, or you're not giving a straight up answer on something that should be given as a straight up answer, doesn't look good for you. So, anyhow, let's get into my rankings and we're going to wrap this up because I've been talking for way too long. All right. So, my number one, if you want to know who my number one is going to be Francesca Hall. It's because I believe her, I see her, and as a mom and a mom from an underrepresented group in the state, she's out here doing the work. Like, I don't want to hear anybody else make excuses, because she's hip hop and crisscrossing all across the state, talking to groups of all sizes. And she is a mom and she has a whole nother job, but that tells me that she is serious about working on behalf of the people. And she would put in the effort. She is visible on social media. She gets under some people's skin, but probably she's probably getting the most under MAGA skin. But she is talking about issues that impact the everyday people. And yeah, that's my number one. My number two is going to be David Crowley. And I believe that he has to do a little bit more visibility type work, but he has a legislative experience. He is, right now the county executive of the biggest county in Wisconsin. He is authentic. And his record speaks for itself, and some of the things that he was able to accomplish, he'll be able to accomplish on a bigger scale. I think that for him, it's going to be important to get out in across the state and talk to everybody across the state. My number three is going to be, this one's tough. Number three is going to be tough. I am going with, that's tough. I'm going to go with Sarah Rodriguez. And I should tell y'all that my rankings could change next month. Who knows? I don't know. But right now, I'm going to go with Sarah Rodriguez as my number three. She's a current lieutenant governor. She has an understanding of the landscape. She has the legislative experience. She has priorities that align with what I like, but what I would like to see. Again, this is another, I need more visibility. More visibility. It is going to take some energy. I think y'all all need to take some, like, vitamin C, D, E, all the vitamins. Drink your Celsius if you can have it, if your heart's cool. And then, all right. Next, so that was my number three. 1, 2, 3. Okay. My number 4 is going to be, remember, just based off my first impressions, it's going to be Kelda Royce. And I'm going to say that she has a lot of legislative experience. She is a lawyer. I think that is important. I think that she would be able to do the job. She has pushed for um, reproductive rights here in Wisconsin. She's actively doing the work, and I could say that based off paper, like I said, she looked good on paper. I do want her to. Well, and I say she looks good on paper because I can get the story from her priorities because they're long, right? She is talking about what her thoughts are, the history behind it, and then like how some of these things can be fixed or like this is her priority because of that. It's just long. So I need her to chop that up some. And then to gauge her personality and level of authenticity, we need her to be more visible. So that means she's gonna have to take a page out of Francesca Hong book and get out here in these different communities. And remember, perception is reality. So if people feel like you are like hiding in the weeds, they are not going to like if they feel like they can't believe you or they can't see you, they create their own narrative and we feel like you don't want this that much. What number am I on? The next number. Next on my list then would be Mandela Barnes. I do think it's really hard. It's really hard to. He's in a hard position right now. I think this is because there's a couple of things right now circulating around the internet. You got to be able to get ahead of these stories. One is going to be that APAC donation that he has to clarify. I haven't seen anything. So if you've seen something, let me know about him clarifying that. But yeah, I'm just saying. I think that right now is probably not going to be the best time for somebody who fits the stereotype of like the status quo Democrat. I think that the time period and climate is different than when he was running against Ron Johnson, and people are beat up right now. So what people don't want is a lack of clarity and authenticity. We want to believe what you say. We want to feel like we're being heard. And that's something that has to be worked on. This ain't a personal dig. This is just a total political type dig. Now, he is going to have the bigger money likely behind him because he has name recognition from running against Ron Johnson. And he'll go on these national news platforms, but you have to be careful of how it looks, because if it looks like you're building you up more than you're building for Wisconsinites, that ain't gonna fare well. And then last on my list, oh wait, this ain't even last. It's gonna be second to last because Zach Roper is last. Because who is he? I don't know who he is. But Brett Hulsey got a lot of work to do, and he had to just announce because I looked at this list maybe a few days ago. But he needs a. This is gonna sound so bad, but he needs a makeover, and he needs to make over his website because what are we doing? Now, like I said, I will get behind any of the like whoever wins, I'm gonna get behind, and I think that has to be a strategy, right? But I don't want we don't want like a corporate shield. We don't want somebody who is just going to be status quo, playing a part, not really making the needle move, trying to be in the middle of the road for every single thing, and not. We need a fighter. And right now, I'll list my fighters from top of the list to the bottom for me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know that was long, but I thank you for staying on. I think it was informative. It was at least a conversation with me. You can get my thoughts and my opinions, but let's talk further about this over time.